You set me up, Dave.
Well, we could change the subject.
No, because I'm not uncomfortable with giving my story. How the individual receives it, that is totally up to them. That is totally up to them.
Exactly.
But it is a issue that I've dealt with, and I've dealt with it in a very creative way, which I used my imagination totally, because I'm looking at my anger when I'm not angry. So what is it I can do to help my anger? I have noticed through more introspection that I have anger issues. And as I told you earlier, it's not anger like, oh, you son of a bitch, I'm going to kill you. It's this anger where I get angry, but then I push it down and I don't deal with it in the manner that I should. And I've been doing this all my life because in being honest, I'd look back and go, oh yeah, I didn't deal with that. Ooh, I didn't deal with that. So this has been a lifetime, an adult lifetime situation with anger. And I try to deal with anger on a logical level by saying, okay, you don't need to get upset. Let's look at this. Let's break it down. The logic did not work. What was the other way that I tried with the anger? Well, of course, denying that I was angry. That's an obvious one. Just saying, no, I'm not an angry person, and just dismissing it. But the story that I told you about a little bit earlier was this. And I'm going to be gutsy. I'm going to step outside of my box of comfort as I'm asking you to step outside of your box of comfort, not only physically, but mentally and also through your heart. So, realize I have anger. I tried other ways, didn't work. So now I'm trying something different. And I decided that, how about humor? Humor is one of my favorite ways of dealing with things because it breaks up the tension of the anguish that you're going through, the anger you're going through, the hate you're going through, the dishonesty that you're trying to break that. And so I was trying to break the habit of anger because I automatically do it. I don't even think about it. I just go immediately there. So I decided, let's try humor. So, okay, what is humorous to me? Many years ago with my first husband, when we started a business, came home, we were dragging our butts. We just come home, sit on the sofa, turn on the TV, and shows were like Alf, Mork and Mindy, Third Rock from the Sun, a variety of funny, short programs. So that would always break our tension from the day, just seeing something as stupid and funny. You don't have to be involved, you're just receiving that message. So I'm going, okay, which of these programs do I want to pick? So I decided to pick Mork and Mindy. Mork and Mindy. So I have to keep that at a pause for a moment and bring in another subject. I like to put things in a physical realm. For instance, I like to see my anger as a physical thing because then it's easier for me to deal with it instead of being this elusive out there. I make it a thing for just a moment. I make it an environment. Well, in my anger, what I decided to do is to create rooms. So I'll give an example. Let's say I'm mad at you, Dave, and you are in the living room and there is a formal dining room and I'm in the kitchen. So my anger as a thing is going directly towards you, all right? So we've got the physical that I'm looking at it, making it an item, and then I have the humor. So how am I combining these two? Once again, I'm in the kitchen, you're in the living room, there is a dining room between. So I get mad at you and my anger starts going towards you. But when it gets to the formal dining room, it takes a detour because I don't want my anger to go to you. I don't want me to be angry with you. But since I do it automatically, I'm not even thinking. It's an automatic thing. So by putting it in 3 rooms, it gets to the dining room, I make it take a detour. How do I make it do a detour? I take something from Mork and Mindy, and it's 2 words. Nanu, nanu. So in my imagination, that anger's going towards you, but
how can you not laugh?
Right, how can you not laugh? That's the whole point. Once you say those words, you're laughing, it's silly. It diffuses the situation. Absolutely. My anger doesn't get to you because I'm throwing in some sense of humor that doesn't necessarily make sense, but it works because you started laughing, I started laughing. We're going, oh, okay, we don't need to be mad about this situation. We just needed to break it up. But when you're in the midst of it, it is so hard to break that up.
That is such a good way to handle that.
So I made this little thing about nanu, nanu, and I've used it several times, and it has worked because I start laughing.
I think one of the reasons why the shows like that, Mork and Mindy, Alf and stuff, because they really ask you to use your imagination.
Right. Oh, yeah. Alf had, 5 stomachs or 3 stomachs or something, and he ate cats, and he couldn't eat the family cat. And yeah, he had all these...
It's like Alf. And use my imagination. I always fell for the cat.
Right. But yeah, taking something that was ailing and living in a human experience.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was doing. I used something that wasn't real to our senses and made it a part of helping me with a problem. Now, I'm not saying that every time I get angry, I do this.
Right.
Sometimes it gets the best of me. But if I can do it a half a dozen times, it becomes now a little bit more of a habit. I get a little bit more using that thought that I can use my imagination and help me with one of my personal problems.
Right. And I can see where in using your imagination, you can apply the same principles to physical health problems.
Of course.
Don't you think?
Yes, and one is I'm experiencing arthritis in both my knees. It's very uncomfortable. You notice I said experiencing. I didn't say I have it because I'm still working on that. So what I'm doing mentally and with my imagination is each time I go down the stairs or up the stairs, I say, I love my skinny, flexible knees. I love my skinny, flexible knees. Skinny meaning no inflammation.
Right.
Flexible meaning that I don't have the stiffness that the arthritis has a tendency of me experiencing. So in my imagination, in my mind, I'm countering this physicalness that I'm experiencing at the moment that I don't like.
Wow.
So
I love my skinny,
these flexible knees, right. Bless the part of your body that you're having problems with. Bless it. Don't accept it like, oh, I hate this arthritis, or I don't want to have arthritis, or I do have arthritis. No, get out of your box of thinking and do something different. Do something different.
Yeah.
So it's just using your imagination.
Which means you have to use your mind.
Right. And also to do something unusual. To do something that people aren't really necessarily willing to talk about. They would rather talk about the pain of their arthritis instead of talking about ways to minimize or eliminate the arthritis. Because mind over matter, I mean, there's a lot of truth in that.
Wow. You every time you talk about a subject, it's almost, I get the impression it's always based on personal experiences.
Yes. And
don't you think it's a little risky in doing that?
Well, yes, I am exposing myself. I'm exposing my issues, my problems, my challenges, but I'm also giving a way that I'm combating it, that I am just not accepting everything the way that it is. I am taking my imagination and my mindset and my behavior to counter something that I want to change in my life.
Imagination, mindset, and behavior.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
I suppose, as a follow-up, my problem is with people is I sometimes have a difficult time separating the person, the persona, from the behavior. So I allow the behavior to influence the persona.
Right.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Oh, yeah.
So really, if I take your advice, the way to do it is to actually separate them.
Right.
Huh. Imagination is a powerful thing
It's a
because
powerful thing.
you've got to imagine the behaviors being sometimes separate from the person.
Right.
You don't always know why they're doing things.
Yes, right. And we're not going to necessarily figure that out. We don't even know why we do certain things.
Exactly.
Let's be honest. But something that goes back even before the imagination is that I do believe with 100% that I am a child of God. And being a child of God, made in His image and likeness, I am like God. Matter of fact, I dare say that I am God in making. I am like an piece of art that is not complete yet. Because are we not reflections of our parents? Are we not like an image of how we were brought in this world? Not only our parents, our environment, our culture, the attitudes, all this. Was that not brought into our lives with us? Of course it was. So if I go back to saying, okay, I may be Ruth's child, Ruth and Walter's child, but that's my human side. My spiritual side is that I am God's child. And that, to me, takes dominion over all things. And when
That's so logical too, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, an acorn is in fact an oak tree waiting to happen.
Exactly.
It's not ever going to be a banana.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So if I hear you correctly, as a child of God, you are God.
That's right. We have the blueprint. We have the pattern.
You're not
we have all of it.
from God at all.
No, we're not. No, we're not.
Wow.
No, we're not. But that is really hard to accept because we're putting God in human terms. We have limits, so therefore God has limits. We sin. We have bad habits. We have this. It's hard for us to imagine us being perfect like God. It's hard for us to imagine, and I do get it, because we look around and we go, oh, we're so far from this, it's not even close.
Right.
But we are a spiritual being having a human experience.
So the reality is, as a spiritual being, you are a part of God.
Yes.
The delusion is the separation from God.
Yes. And as humans, we usually feel separated because our ego is telling us something, our environment is telling us something, our job, our parents, all of it. All the senses are saying, ego, human, earthly, we're all here. But the mind and the heart says that we are of God.
So, if we are God, then the other person is also
Absolutely.
a spiritual being
Absolutely.
having a physical experience.
Yeah.
We are, in fact, our brothers
and sisters. Brothers and sisters, yes, every single one of us. Absolutely. Because if we're all children of God, then we're all brothers and sisters. Without exception. Without exception. Now, these are hard things.
Love.
Yes.
So you can, again, correct me, but in separating the behavior from the person is a spiritual being the behavior is abnormality,
Right.
right?
Right.
So you love the person unconditionally, and you can say, well,
Yeah.
and that comes on to forgiveness.
Um, Forgiveness and acceptance, I think it would be
Yeah.
both ways. It could be both
Yeah.
ways. Because that person over there is just trying to learn to be the best child of God, spiritual being that they can be, whether they recognize that or not. They're on a path and a journey just like you are and just like I am.
Right.
We're all in the same boat. We're all in the same boat.
Aren't we? Yeah.
And I do believe, in an extension of that, this earthly plane that we are on is a accelerated classroom. Not a regular classroom, an accelerated. Because we are so knowledgeable, we've just maybe forgotten. We are spiritual beings.
We should never lose track of that.
Right. That is the main point. That is the main, and everything goes around, comes from that. And if we could truly embrace that, that would be a major, major breakthrough. Because then we're going to see the separation of the human and the spiritual.
Right.
That sometimes we do human things and they're not spiritual. And same times we do spiritual things that don't support the humanness. So we're juggling two things at the same time on a very accelerated path. We are very, very intelligent beings that decided to come to this earth at this time to experience what we each individually are experiencing. I know this is a lot to accept, but I truly believe it with all my heart. That's exactly what it is.
You're in this. You realize that if you give me permission, I'm going to publish this. And having published it, a lot of people are going to identify with what you're saying. They just have not had an outlet.
Right. And it could be a movement inside. They're uneasy. They're not satisfied. There's just something more going on than the earthly experiences. There's more to life and more to me and more to you and all of us than, getting a job, having 2.5 kids, retiring, there's way more.
Yeah.
And each of us have our own personal journey of what we need to overcome.
But we can overcome because
Absolutely.
we are spiritual.
Right.
We are the stuff
Right.
that God is made of.
Right.
That's what we are.
Right.
Having a human experience.
Right. And if we utilize, as Christians mostly, Jesus being our teacher and way shower, that's just it. He's teaching us and showing us the way. Go the way he did and how he thought and how he acted. He didn't act like a human. Yes, he was going around in a human body. There's no doubt about that. But look how advanced he was and is loving and accepting and trying to prepare people to live a better life. And when I say lead a better life, I don't mean get more money. I don't mean be more powerful or authority or something like that. No, I mean being a better spiritual individual, because that's the core of who we are. That is who we are. We're just using a human body as a vehicle. Just like when you go downstairs, you're going to get your car, and that's your vehicle. Just like my vehicle is different. We all have different vehicles. But that's all that is. It's just a vehicle to get us from one place to another.
Yeah.
But it's our spiritual nature. That is the core of who we are. That's the foundation, and that's the rock of who we truly are. Sometimes it takes a lifetime to figure that out. So.
Thank you so very much, Melanie. Thank you.
So I went out on a limb.
Yeah.
I went out on a limb to say these things because they are not conventional.
Yeah.
They are not mostly acceptable. But that doesn't mean that they're not real. And that doesn't mean that they're not the true path and the true journey. That is an individual thing we all have to decide on. Now you say, well, okay, well, why doesn't God just make it that way? God did something really unusual.
Wow.
He loved us so much, he gave us free will, that we don't even have to believe in him. Now, what kind of love is that? He's going to forgive you and love you no matter. No matter.
Wow, unconditional.
Unconditional. That's hard for us to accept.
Wow.
Because we're not so giving in our human side. We're not necessarily so forgiving and unconditional.
This is pretty powerful. Thank you.
It all makes sense.
Thank
you. Thank you, Dave.